Stop scrolling, take a breath, because what I am about to reveal today could completely change the way you look at the coins hiding in America. Coins you may have spent without thinking, coins resting quietly in drawers, jars, glove compartments, and old wallets. Today on USA Mint Coin, we are stepping into a hidden documentary of American histories, where four ordinary-looking quarters carry extraordinary stories. The 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter, the 2004 Texas State Quarter, the 2007 Idaho State Quarter, and the 2014 United States quarter-dollar coin. These are not just pieces of metal. They are time capsules, minted moments, silent witnesses to errors, rarity, condition, and collector obsession. Imagine holding a coin that once passed through countless hands, never knowing it carried a secret shaped by the U.S. Mint, protected by history, and unlocked only by trained eyes. In this video, we will move step by step, peeling back layers of design, dismantling process, and numismatic mystery. Each coin connected like chapters in a single, unfolding story. A story that starts with curiosity, builds with suspense, and ends with revelations that every collector dreams of. Stay with me until the very last moment, because each coin will challenge what you think you know about pocket change, and by the end, you may never look at an American quarter the same way again. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe to USA Mint Coin, because this journey into hidden value is only just beginning. The 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter. This coin enters our story quietly, released at the very beginning of a new millennium, when America was stepping into the year 2000 with hope, curiosity, and a sense of fresh beginnings. As part of the U.S. Mint 50 State Quarters program, New Hampshire became the 9th state honored. And at first glance, this quarter looks simple, even modest. But as with many legendary coins, its true power is hidden beneath the surface. The design immediately draws attention to the Old Man of the Mountain, and a famous granite rock formation that once symbolized the spirit of New Hampshire, standing tall and proud above Profile Lake. Surrounded by inscriptions that read, "Live free or die." This was not just a slogan. It was a philosophy carved into metal. And collectors quickly realized this design carried emotional and historical weight. Now imagine millions of pomfs, these quarters rolling out of the mint, flooding into circulation, used in vending machines, gas stations, grocery stores, almost all of them overlooked. Yet within that ocean of coins, a tiny number carried unusual characteristics, errors, variations, and exceptional conditions that would later ignite numismatic excitement. This is where the story deepens, because coin collecting is not about what everyone sees, it is about what almost everyone misses. The 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter was struck in a copper-nickel composition with a standard weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 1.75 millimeters. These specifications match most modern quarters, which is why this coin blended perfectly into everyday life. But condition changes everything. A coin that circulated heavily tells a story of use, but a coin preserved in pristine mint state becomes something else entirely. Something rare and powerful. Collectors trained in numismatics look closely at strike-quality luster, surface preservation, and edge integrity. Even the smallest flaw or the most perfect surface can mean the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Professional grading. Companies like PCGS and NGC exist because condition must be evaluated with precision and trust. When a 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter is submitted for grading, experts examine it under magnification, checking for full details on the Old Man of the Mountain, sharp lettering, clear rims, and original mint luster. Coins graded at the highest levels like MS-88 or MS-9 become incredibly scarce because very few survive the minting and handling process without microscopic damage. Now pause here and think, how many quarters have you handled without gloves? How many have clashed together in pockets, jars, and bags? Each contact leaves a mark, which is why top-grade examples are so rare. Adding another layer to this story are mint errors. Some 2,000 New Hampshire quarters have been discovered with off-center strikes, double dies, planchet flaws, or improper clad bonding. These errors are not mistakes in the eyes of collectors. They are signatures of the minting process, proof that something unexpected happened at the U.S. Mint during production. And unexpected is exactly what collectors crave. Suspense builds because not every error is obvious. Some are subtle, requiring careful examination and knowledge, which is why viewers should pause this video later and inspect their own coins closely. Now, let us talk about value, because this is where the emotional impact truly lands. In elite circumstances, a 2000 Hampshire Southwester State Quarter with extreme rarity, flawless condition, or a dramatic verified mint error, professionally graded and authenticated, has been associated with values reaching up to $5 million. Yes, $5 million. But remember, this is not about every coin. It is about the perfect storm of rarity, condition, demand, and story. This is why grading matters so deeply. PCGS and NGC slabs protect the coin, certify its authenticity, and assign it a grade that the market trusts. Without this professional backing, even a rare coin may struggle to reach its potential. Collectors and investors rely on these institutions because trust drives value. Now, the question everyone asks next is, how do you sell a coin like this? And the answer is strategic patience. High-value coins are not sold at flea markets or casual online listings. They belong in major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or through reputable rare coin dealers with established networks. These venues attract serious collectors, investors, and museums, ensuring competitive bidding and maximum exposure. Before selling, documentation, grading, certification, and provenance are essential. And this is why education matters, which is exactly why you are here watching USA Mint Coin. If you are holding a 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter, do not rush, examine it carefully, weigh it, measure it, check the edges and surfaces, compare it to known varieties, and consider professional evaluation, because sometimes history hides in plain sight. And before we move on to the next coin in this journey, take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to USA Mint Coin. Tell us if you have ever found a state quarter that felt different in your hand, because coming up next, the story grows bigger, bolder, and even more surprising, and the path from New Hampshire leads us straight into the heart of Texas, where the next quarter carries an even deeper layer of mystery and power. The 2004 Texas State Quarter. This coin storms into our story with confidence, scale, and symbolism. Released as part of the U.S. Mint 50 State Quarters program, Texas was the 28th state honored, and from the very first day of its release, this quarter carried a presence that collectors could feel instantly. Texas is not just a state. It is an identity, and the U.S. Mint captured that identity with a bold design featuring the unmistakable outline of Texas itself, centered proudly with a lone star, surrounded by the words, "The Lone Star State." This was more than decoration. It was a declaration. And millions of Americans held this quarter without realizing they were holding one of the most emotionally charged state designs ever minted. The year 2004 was a time when the state quarter program was at its peak. Excitement was high, public interest was massive, and production numbers were enormous. Yet, within that massive output, something fascinating happened. A small fraction of these Texas quarters emerged with characteristics that would later separate them from the rest. This is where the collector's journey truly begins, because rarity is not always about low mintage. Sometimes it is about survival condition. And the hidden stories locked inside the metal, the 2004 Texas State Quarter was struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition. The same familiar makeup as other modern quarters, with a standard weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 1.75 millimeters. These numbers may sound ordinary, but numismatics teaches us that ordinary specifications can still produce extraordinary results, depending on how a coin was struck, handled, stored, and preserved. Collectors trained in the craft examine strike strength, especially around the star and the sharp angles of the Texas outline, because weak strikes can blur critical details while strong strikes create razor-sharp edges that elevate a coin into a higher grading tier. Luster plays a major role here. Original mint luster that flows evenly across the surface without breaks is a powerful indicator of a coin that has never circulated. And circulation is the enemy of value. Every pocket, every cash register, every coin roll introduces risk, which is why mint state examples graded by PCGS or NGC at MS68 or higher are incredibly rare. Now, let us pause for suspense, because condition alone is not the only factor driving this coin's legend. Mint errors add an entirely new layer of intrigue. Some 2004 Texas quarters have been discovered with dramatic off-center strikes, where part of the design drifts toward the edge. Others show doubling in the lettering or star, known as doubled die varieties, and some exhibit planchet anomalies, where the metal itself tells a story of imperfection. Before the strike even occurred, these errors are frozen moments in the minting process. Proof that even the most advanced machinery can produce surprises. Collectors do not see these as flaws, they see them as fingerprints. Unique identifiers that transform a common coin into a one-of-a-kind artifact. Now imagine discovering one of these coins in pristine condition, authenticated and graded. This is where anticipation builds, because the market responds powerfully to rarity combined with narrative. The Texas Draped quarter already carries cultural weight. Add rarity and perfection, and you have a coin that commands attention at the highest levels of collecting. In exceptional cases, a 2004 Texas State Quarter, with extreme rarity, top-tier grading, and verified mint errors, has been associated with values reaching up to $9 million. Yes, $9 million. This figure is not about hype. It represents the intersection of scarcity-demand, condition, and story. And the story matters deeply in numismatics. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC are essential here because they provide the authentication and grading standards that high-end collectors trust. A coin encapsulated in a PCGS or NGC holder is protected from damage and backed by a respected authority. Without that certification, even the rarest coin may struggle to achieve its true market potential. Now comes the practical question every viewer should consider. How do you sell a coin of this magnitude? The answer is precision and patience. High-value coins belong in elite venues. Major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers specialize in bringing rare coins to serious buyers. These platforms create competitive environments where collectors from around the world bid against each other, driving prices upward. Private treaty sales through established rare coin dealers are another path, especially when discretion and targeted marketing are required. What should never be done is rushing to sell through casual marketplaces because value can evaporate without proper presentation and audience. Education is your greatest asset, and that is why this channel exists. As you watch USA Mint coin, you are learning how to recognize potential treasure, how to protect it, and how to position it for maximum value. If you have a 2004 Texas state quarter, take a moment later to examine it carefully. Check the star, the edges, the surface, texture, the weight, and alignment. Consider professional grading. If something feels unusual, because sometimes the biggest discoveries are hiding in plain sight. And before we move forward, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to USA Mint Coin. Share your thoughts below if you have ever felt the weight of a Texas quarter and wondered if it was different, because the journey does not slow down from here. Next, we travel northwest into a quieter state with a coin that surprised even seasoned collectors. The 2007 Idaho State Quarter, where the mystery deepens and the stakes rise even higher. The 2007 Idaho State Quarter, this coin enters our story almost unnoticed. Quiet, reserved, and humble, much like the state it represents. Released during the later phase of the USN Mint 50 State Quarters program, Idaho was the 43rd state honored. And by 2007, public excitement around the program had softened. Many people were no longer checking their change, which is exactly why this quarter became such an unexpected sleeper in the numismatic world. The design itself tells a story of simplicity and heritage, featuring a majestic peregrine falcon in flight above the outline of the state, with the inscription Esto Perpetua, meaning "Let it be perpetual," a phrase deeply connected to Idaho history and identity. At first glance, this design feels calm, even understated. But collectors know that understated designs often hide the greatest surprises because fewer people notice them closely. Millions of Idaho quarters entered circulation, passing silently through hands across America. Yet within that massive mintage, a very small number emerged with characteristics that would later ignite intense collector interest. This is where the narrative tightens, because rarity does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers. The 2007 Idaho State Quarter was struck in a copper nickel-clad composition, consistent with modern quarters, weighing 5.67 grams, measuring 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and approximately 1.75 millimeters in thickness. These technical details may seem routine, but numismatists understand that precision matters. Even the slightest deviation in weight or thickness can signal something unusual beneath the surface. Experienced collectors use digital scales, calipers, and magnification to detect anomalies, because an error coin often reveals itself through numbers before the eye ever notices a visual difference. Condition plays a decisive role in this coin's story. By 2007, fewer people were setting aside state quarters, which means fewer coins survived in pristine condition. Circulation damage became common almost immediately. Bag marks, scratches, and dulling luster reduced the number of high-grade examples dramatically. This is why professional grading by PCGS and NGC becomes so important. These organizations examine surface preservation, strike quality luster, and eye appeal under controlled conditions, assigning grades that the market respects. For the Idaho Quarter, full detail on the falcon's feathers, sharp state outline, and clean fields are critical. Coins that achieve MS-68 or higher are extremely rare and fiercely sought after. Now, let us introduce the element that transformed this coin from overlooked to legendary: mint errors and striking anomalies. Some 2007 Idaho quarters have been discovered with dramatic errors, including double die lettering where inscriptions appear slightly shifted, creating a ghost-like echo. Off-center strikes where the design drifts away from the center, leaving blanks, planchet visible, and planchet defects where the metal itself was flawed before striking. Each error is a frozen moment of chaos inside the minting process, a reminder that even modern precision can produce surprises. Collectors do not see these as imperfections. They see them as stories stamped into metal, and the quieter the base coin, the louder the error becomes. Suspense builds because these errors are not always obvious. Some require careful lighting and magnification to reveal, which is why many may still be hiding in circulation or forgotten collections. Now we arrive at the moment that changes perception entirely. Value, in extraordinary cases where a 2007 Idaho State quarter combines extreme rarity, pristine condition, and a verified dramatic mint error. Professionally graded and authenticated, the coin has been associated with values reaching up to $11 million. Yes, $11 million. This number shocks many, because Idaho is not often linked with numismatic legends. But this is exactly why this coin is so powerful. It defies expectation. It proves that value is not about fame, but about scarcity, condition, and story. PCGS and NG certification are essential at this level because they provide the credibility that high-end collectors and investors demand. Encapsulation protects the coin and creates a permanent record of its grade and characteristics. Without that trust, even the rarest discovery can struggle to find its rightful place in the market. Now, let us talk strategy. How do you sell a coin like this? The answer is never impulse. High value. Idaho quarters belong in elite auction environments or private negotiated sales through top-tier rare coin dealers. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers specialize in presenting rare coins to a global audience, creating competitive bidding that can unlock maximum value. Preparation is key. Detailed documentation is professional. Photography grading certificates and expert consultation all contribute to a successful sale. This is why education matters so deeply, which brings us back to why you are trying. Watching USA Mint Coin, this channel exists to help you recognize potential treasure before it slips away unnoticed. If you have a 2007 Idaho State quarter, take time to study it, weigh it, measure it, examine the falcon, the lettering, the edges. Trust your instincts and seek professional evaluation if something feels different, because sometimes the quietest coins carry the loudest stories. And before we move into the final chapter of this journey, take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to USA Mint Coin. Share below if you have ever overlooked a coin only to later realize its importance. Because next we arrive at the most modern and most dramatic coin of all, the 2014 United States $quarter coin, where rarity reaches its peak and the story comes full circle. The 2014 United States $quarter coin. This is where our story reaches its most intense and emotional chapter, because this coin feels modern, familiar, and almost impossible to imagine as rare, yet this is exactly what makes it so powerful. Released in 2014 during a time when most Americans no longer paid attention to their change, this quarter quietly entered circulation alongside digital payments, mobile wallets, and online transactions, and because of that, it slipped beneath the radar of millions. But numismatics teaches us that neglect often creates rarity. And rarity is the birthplace of legends. The 2014 United States $quarter coin represents a turning point in American coinage. Struck during the America the Beautiful Quarters program, featuring national parks and historic sites. This program carried forward the storytelling tradition of U.S. coinage, transforming everyday quarters into miniature documentaries of American heritage. Yet the true story of this coin is not just in its design. It is in its timing, its production, nuances, and the tiny fraction that survived in extraordinary condition. The U.S. Mint struck these quarters in a copper nickel-clad composition for circulation, with a standard weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 1.75 millimeters. These specifications align with modern quarters, which is exactly why most people dismiss them as ordinary. But collectors know that modern coins face unique threats: automated counting machines, high-speed circulation, and bulk handling create micro-damage almost instantly, meaning truly flawless examples are far rarer than most imagine. This is where professional grading becomes critical. PCGS and NGC evaluate these coins under intense magnification, analyzing strike sharpness, surface integrity, luster, and eye appeal for 2014 quarters. Full design details, clean fields, and untouched mint luster are essential for top grades. Coins graded MS68, MS69, or higher exist in extremely small numbers because modern production does not guarantee perfection. Now let us introduce the suspense that elevates this coin into legend status. Mint errors and production anomalies. Some 2014 United States quarter-dollar coins have surfaced with dramatic and verified errors, including double strikes where the design appears layered and misaligned, off-metal strikes where the coin was struck on an incorrect planchet, clipped planchets missing sections of metal, and doubled die varieties that create shadow-like duplication in lettering and imagery. These errors are not accidents to collectors. They are historical records of a moment when the minting process broke from routine. Each error tells a story of pressure, timing, and machinery. And because these errors occurred during a period of lower public attention, many slipped unnoticed into circulation, building suspense because there may still be undiscovered examples waiting in plain sight. Condition once again magnifies the impact. A dramatic error coin that is heavily worn loses part of its magic, but an error coin preserved in pristine condition becomes electrifying. This is why certification by PCGS or NGC is non-negotiable at the highest levels. These institutions verify the error, authenticate the coin, and assign a grade that the global market recognizes. Encapsulation protects the coin and transforms it into a trusted asset. Now, we arrive at the moment that redefines perception entirely. Value in the most extraordinary documented scenarios. A 2014 United States quarter-dollar coin that combines an extreme mint error, top-tier condition, and professional certification has been associated with values reaching up to $15 million. Yes, $15 million. This figure feels almost unreal for a coin many people still carry today, but this is the essence of numismatics. Value is born where rarity meets story and demand explodes when collectors realize something they overlooked has become nearly impossible to find. Now let us talk about what happens if you believe you have a coin like this. The first rule is patience. Never clean the coin, never alter it, never attempt to improve its appearance. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Instead, handle it carefully, preferably with gloves, and store it safely. The next step is professional evaluation through PCGS or NGC. Submission may feel intimidating, but it is the gateway to legitimacy. Once graded and authenticated, selling becomes a strategic decision. Coins of this magnitude belong in elite environments. Major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers specialize in presenting rare coins to the world's most serious collectors, investors, and institutions. These venues create competitive bidding that can unlock true market value. Private sales through established rare coin dealers are another option when discretion and targeted placement are preferred. What should never happen is rushing to sell through casual online platforms where the audience cannot recognize or afford true rarity. Knowledge is power, and preparation is everything. This is why USA Mint Coin exists, to guide you through these moments of discovery and decision. Now, as we reach the end of this journey, take a moment to reflect on how far we have traveled, from New Hampshire to Texas to Idaho, and finally to this modern quarter that redefines what rarity looks like. These coins are connected not just by metal, but by timing, chance, and human behavior. And before you move on, remember to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to USA Mint Coin. Share this video with fellow collectors, family, and friends, because awareness creates discovery, and discovery changes lives. Stay subscribed for future rare coin breakdowns, hidden value stories, and professional numismatic insights, because the next legendary coin might already be in your pocket, waiting for you to notice it.